Hi, it's Mr. Smith, and in this video, I will be giving you a video tour of eCampus and MyLab Math, also known as My Math Lab. And so those are the two programs that you'll be working with the most this semester. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, when you first sign into eCampus and you sign into our course, that's this one here, 1332-42415 is the section number. There's an introduction for you to read, also a video introduction. So make sure you read through this and it'll tell you everything you need to know to get started. And the first thing you're going to do, or it's going to tell you to do, is to go to the syllabus link. And here's where you can click on the syllabus. You're going to want to print it out, and I would encourage you to make comments on things that you don't want to forget, or maybe put some question marks about or by places where you might have some questions. And so that's the most important thing to start is just making sure you know what's expected and what's in the syllabus. And so that's the first thing. And then the next thing it's going to tell you to do on that introduction page is go to the Start Here button. And so here you can see it's going to tell you to read that introductory announcement. If you haven't already done so, we've done that. You've got your syllabus next. Read that if you haven't done that. And then it's going to ask you to confirm your email address. You just want to make sure that your email address in eConnect is correct, because all the communications, not just for me, but your other instructors, are going to be going through your eConnect email. In fact, if you haven't already done so, I would encourage you to connect that to your phone. You can always talk to another student that has a similar phone or same phone you have, or you can call the IT people and they can help you get that set up. I know for me it's nice. On my phone I have all my emails going to the same place so I don't miss any emails. So once you've done that, you're going to go on to lessons and assignments. And there's a video in there, a video tour of eCampus in my math lab. That's actually what we're doing here. So let's see, you also have instructor information, which was also on your syllabus. So that's always in here. Course navigation overview, that's just basically talking about these different areas, course information, communication tools, and so on. Just tells you what you're going to find in there. You've got technology requirements if you're concerned about whether your technology has enough memory or whatever to do the things that are required in the courses that you'll be taking. And then tips for success, you can click on that and see what that's all about. Let's go ahead and move on to lessons and assignments. And actually, I'm sorry, before we do that, we'll come back here. Let's go ahead and do the other areas first. This is where you're going to spend most of your time in the My Math Lab links. So let's go back and let's look at Check My Grades. So here's where you're going to find your grades. I basically update them in eCampus after each test. And so of course there's nothing there now, but there will be after the first test. And again, eCampus grades are the most accurate, so those are the ones you want to be following. We've been on the announcements page. If you want to email me, you click here and you can do that here. Discussion board. If you click on discussion board, you can see that here's where you can introduce yourself to the class. Highly encourage everybody to do that. This is your chance to share some words with me and your fellow students so that we can get to know you better. This is kind of what I'm looking for. If you click on introductions, you can see that mine's already in here. So if you want, you can reply to mine and respond to that, or you can click here to go OK, back. I don't know why it should say new thread here, but for some reason it's saying subscribe. So maybe the first time you have to subscribe, But this is where you click to put your own introduction in. I encourage you to be yourself when you do that. I just did a written one. Some people will do videos. Sometimes people like to share pictures. Anything you want to use to share with us to help us to get to know you better. So that's, and I think that's about all we're going to do under discussion board this semester. If you go under student services, these are all the services or the main services available to students. And so I would encourage you to make sure you look through there and see what's in there. Technical help, that's if you're having problems with eCampus or eConnect or some other general questions. So there's information here for how to get that help. I really encourage you to explore the different links and just make sure you know what's in there. I know sometimes for me, I'll look through things and then later on I'll go, oh, I need some help with this, and I remember where I can go and find that help. So hopefully just exploring will help you to remember a lot of those things. Let's see, what else do we have? Now, your view is going to look a little different than mine. I'm going to go ahead and show you what it'll look like. It'll look like this here. You can also see that there's office hours, and I guess I need to put in another, oh, you can't see that link. Oh, anyway, it'll pretty much look like this. Let me go ahead and switch back to mine. So that's pretty much all the links. The only one I didn't mention was office hours, and that's where we can meet online. In eCampus, if you need some help, tutoring help. Let's see, let's go back to lessons and assignments. Actually, the link I was looking for that I wasn't seeing earlier was this one here. It's MyLab Math, and it'll be at the bottom on your list, or it should be, although I wasn't just seeing it. But that's another way to get into the MyMathLab links. But the main way that we'll start is through lessons and assignments. So I'm actually making the video tour, so this link is not made yet, but that's how you access the video tour. And then if you click on My Math Lab or My Lab Math, these are all the My Math Lab links. So the first thing you're going to want to do when you get in here is click on the browser check, and it's just going to make sure that you have everything that you need on your computer so that you can use all the features of My Math Lab. Later on, if you have some issues with My Math Lab, which students sometimes do, sometimes it helps to just go back and rerun the browser check. The place where you spend most of your time is in assignments. We'll come back to that. The eText link, of course, is a link to your textbook. Takes just a minute to load up here. All right, so you can click here, and this is your table of contents. You can go to whatever chapter you want, whatever section you want. And so here's your book. And to go forward and backwards, you just click on these buttons here. Now you can't see the whole thing here because I made the page smaller for this video, but when you have a full-size picture, you should be able to see the whole book. If you want to print out pages, you can click here, and there's a print page feature. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to these links. So there's a gradebook link. Now it'll show you the different grades for your assignments in MyLab Math. The only thing I would warn you about is your overall grade might be a little bit off just because of the settings in MyMathLab. So again, the most important settings for your grade, or I should say the most important place for getting your grade is in eCampus, which we looked at a little earlier. But this will give you grades for individual assignments. Multimedia library, that's actually where you'll find all the resources that are in MyMathLab to help you learn the material. And so let's see if we go to chapter 5 and we'll say section 3. and just click on Select All. It'll tell us all the resources that are available to us. So there's some Test 5 test prep videos. You probably won't need to worry about those because of the other stuff that I've made available to you. Here's a PowerPoint with PowerPoint notes for the section. You could go to the textbook using this link. And so the other option though is you have all these videos. And so these are just all the resources for this section. And in some of the sections you'll find some other things as well. But that's how you can access the resources for any of the chapters or sections. Now you're going to have access to a lot of this through your homework. Let's go ahead and go back. So that's the multimedia library. Integration support is where if you, for some reason, do have issues with MyMathLab this semester and you're working with Pearson support, they may have you go in there to give you some information, to give them some information about the course. MyMathLab math purchase options. If you want a copy of the printed textbook, you can do that by clicking here. You can see it's about 60 bucks, so, but that is an option if you're interested. Whoops, let's go back here. Accessible resources, if you're concerned about accessibility, you can see what's in there. And excuse me. A couple other things there you may want to check out, but pretty much hit everything except for assignments. So let's go into assignments. So you can see these are all the assignments for the first week. They're all due by the 22nd. And all the ones that say DMAT 0317 are there as a result of that course. So that's part of taking the DMAT course. But for the first week, notice you got a couple of optional videos, like here, how to enter answers in MyMathLab. Most students these days are pretty good on a computer, but if you have any issues entering answers in MyMathLab, that'll be there the whole semester. College success, that's something that you'll be assigned for this first week as part of the 0317 course. Transitioning to college, if you're new to college, that's a really interesting video that you might want to look at. For those of you that are new to the TI-30XS multi-view calculator, in this video I just introduced you to all the basic features. Again, I highly recommend this calculator unless you're really good on, let's say, a graphing calculator or some other calculator that you've been using. The most important thing is that you can put complex fractions, which is basically fractions within fractions, into your calculator when we get into the finance chapter. Now for each, you'll notice you have a skills review. You'll have that for some of the chapters. It's just a review of some of the skills you're going to need in that chapter. And then for each homework assignment, notice here you have 1.1. There's a videos link. And let's go ahead and go down into 1.2 videos. So notice here, you got a few things. At the bottom here, this is a link to the textbook for section 1.2. This is a link to PowerPoint notes for that section. So those are two ways that you can learn the material. And then these are all the videos. Most of these come with the book, but the ones that say 1T are the ones that I've made. And literally, these are the videos that are like what I present in a regular classroom. So my recommendation is watch my videos, the ones that say 1T. They should prepare you for most of the homework. And then do your homework, and sometimes you'll have options to click on some of these other videos when you click on the help buttons, but if not, you can always come back here and see what other videos are available for the different topics. But so basically the video section is it's where you learn the material. So whatever is going to work best for you, whether it's reading the book or watching a video or looking through the PowerPoint notes, these are all options for learning the material. Again, my recommendation is to watch my videos. All right, so you can click on Start, or you can click out of here and then click on the homework. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and just, let's see. I'm going to click, actually, let me click on Start. Actually, that's just taking you to the first video here, so we don't want to do that. We want to go back to the homework. Whoops, and I made a mistake, and I should have arrowed back. Let's go back to assignments, and we were going to do 1.2. So let's go ahead. Now you can see you can start by clicking on question 1, or if you click on Start, it'll take you to question 1. I'm going to go to question 6. By the way, there's a few ways that you can move around. You can click on the questions here. You can arrow back or forward to go to the next question or the previous question. You can also click on these 3 lines, horizontal lines, and that also gives you a menu with all the questions on it. So here it says round to the nearest given place, which is going to be the thousandths place. I'm going to put in some wrong answers, so just say 5. And it says it's incorrect. Let's try again. We'll put in 1.6, but notice I'm rounding to the nearest tenth. I should be rounding to the nearest thousandth. So check answer. So notice it's got that red X, it's wrong. And I'll just hit enter again, but basically you have final check. Most of the time you're going to get 3 shots. So let's click on final check. Notice it tells you the correct answer and what your answer was. Now at this point you have a choice. You can click on similar question and it'll give you a new problem. And if you get that problem right, then notice this red X, it'll end up becoming a green check mark. And we're just going to go to the next question. So notice it did mark question 6 wrong. So we could keep on moving on and then come back to that, but we're going to go ahead and go back. And we're going to click on similar question. And let's see, we're rounding to the nearest thousand, so this will be 1.275. Check answer. So notice now I have a green check mark. I'll go to the next question, and now question 6 is correct. The main thing I want you to understand is that if you miss problems, as long as you're willing to go back and fix them, you have the ability to get 100% on every homework assignment. And that can be really valuable. So really encourage you to shoot for that. At the very least, I always tell students shoot for at least an 80%. All right, so what else? If you click down at the bottom here where it says help me solve this, it'll help you solve this problem. It'll take you through step by step. And then it'll give you a new problem. Now sometimes students like the problem they have, so instead they'll click on view an example, and then they'll come back and do the problem that's here. There may be other options at the bottom, but if not, you'll click get more help. So notice here you can click to the textbook and it'll take you to the section 1.2 in the textbook. There may be videos and other things in here. There's not much here. StatCrunch we won't be using for this course. And then if you click on Ask My Instructor, this is kind of nice, especially when you have like a graph or a word problem. It'll send me the problem, but then you can also ask your specific question by just typing it in right here. And so this is a way that sometimes students, when they're struggling and like maybe it's the weekend or in the evening sometime, they'll send me questions, and if I'm available, I'll get right back to them. You know, it just kind of depends on my schedule for the weekend or whatever. You know, sometimes I'm up late at night, and if I am, I'll take care of it there. It just kind of depends, but this is another way you can get questions answered. Let's see. So I think that's all I wanted to show you there. Notice there's a save button. It's always a good idea to save before you go out. Although there is an auto save. I believe it does that quite frequently. I'm pretty sure it's from problem to problem. But you can also click here and notice there's more information on accessibility if you're interested in that. You can print out your homework. Just be careful. I haven't talked to anybody about this lately, but or any students. I had students in the past that said they printed out their homework, they did it, but when they went back in, the problems had changed. So just be careful about that. And by the way, it'd be great if you let me know if you try that and you have any problems, or if you don't have any problems. So that'd be good to know. So anyway, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to show you. Again, if you have any problems or questions, please get in touch with me and I'll do everything I can to help you out. That's going to be it for this video.